Hi, I will explain to you this one November 07 paper 2 question 2. Get ready your question paper, and after that you should do this question and also this two question. Okay, so now this question you see it says the plum company manufactures and sell only two products. Annual sales for product A B are 20,000 at 20,000 units at $200 each, and product YZ sells 12,000 units at $500 each. Each unit of AB takes 3 hours to make in assembly shop, and each unit of YZ takes 5 hours. Labor is $12 per hour. Okay, two products are made out of two materials, M and P, and the quantity of materials used in making one product is as follows. Okay, material price is $3 per kilo for M. Okay, so all this information given here, but what is the question asking? Okay, so the question says prepare an overhead apportionment sheet to analyze the indirect expenses between product A, B, and YZ. Show the basis of apportionment you have used for each expense. B. Calculate an overhead recovery rate based on direct labor hours for each of the two products. C. Calculate using an absorption costing basis the full cost of one unit of each product A, B, and YZ. So part A says prepare an overhead apportionment sheet to analyze the indirect expenses between A, B, and YZ. Show your basis of apportionment you have used for each expense. So without thinking too much, I will do the heading first. This one, this company is called The Plum. Okay, so I put the plum overhead apportionment sheet. Okay, so bracket $sign, and I underlined. So I put the question number 2A. So without thinking too much, I do this first. Okay, so what is this overhead apportionment sheet all about? Okay, you see, other annual costs. Okay, so material price, packaging material. So these are the direct material. That means direct material are material prices $3 per kilo. Direct material are the direct costs are the costs. These are the direct costs. That means direct costs are costs that can be easily you you can direct cost means cost that you can easily identify with one unit of product. Means you can the direct cost means you can easily know, or one unit of product AB, how much is my material cost, how much is my packaging material, because it can be easily known how much. But um, other annual costs. So you said to apportion indirect expenses. Indirect expenses is like rent and rent, depreciation. It's like, oh, okay, they said rent for the whole year for the whole factory is so much. So indirect expense is not easily, it cannot be easily said that, oh, one product how much is my rent, one product how much is my depreciation. You have to do good calculation in order to find out what is the indirect cost for one product. Okay, so other annual costs, these are the other annual costs in stores, canteen. Okay, so and then these are the and then this is the other expenses. Okay, these are the other expenses, and then you are given this kind of information. Okay, so that means you are going to do an overhead apportionment sheet to analyze the indirect expenses. That means this overhead apportionment sheet, the purpose is to find out, um, is to so-called compile all the indirect expenses, so that later you want to find out what is the how much is the indirect expense per unit, per unit of product. So I'm going to compile all the indirect expense here. These are all the indirect expenses. Okay, I call this allocated apportionment. So allocated means allocated. In other words, is allocated cost lah. You can just put it allocated cost. It means the same. So so you see in the factory, it seems like there is assembly shop for two products, and then there's a stores, and then there's a canteen. Okay, so these are the indirect materials for all these departments. Okay, for all these departments. Okay, so then you know, in my answer sheet here, I will lay down my departments. This is assembly shop for AB, assembly shop, and then we have stores, and then I have canteen, and then I have the total here. And then these are my indirect expenses. Okay, you should get the answer sheets, the question with you. So this is my indirect material and my indirect labor. So I just put down my figures. The figures, the figures are all here. I'll put down my figures. Okay, indirect labor. Then you have rents and rate. I don't know the allocation, but I have the total. The total is given in the question. So without thinking too much, I will put the total first. Okay, this is the um, actual amount that is given, that is given in the question. Actually, all these are budgeted figures, to be precise. Okay, so similarly, depreciation, I don't know all this, but I have the totals. So without thinking too much, I just put it down. Power use, I have the total as given in the question. Heating and lighting and advertising, and then I total this. Okay, I don't know the allocation for all the departments, but I can find out. You know, you see, rent and rates 150,000, and then you see these are the departments stated here. Okay, so how are you going to, on what basis, are you going to allocate rent and rate? I think rent and rate should be allocated to these four departments based on areas in square meter, because based on all this information as given here, I think areas in square meter is the most appropriate to allocate rents and rates. Yeah, is very logical, because the more area the department occupy, the more rent and rates overhead costs they should take. Fair enough? Yeah, fair. Okay. So what is the rent and rates for product AB? Will be 60,000 divided by 125,000. So in short, 60 divided by 125 times 150,000. So you take your calculator, you take 60 divided by 125, 60 divided by 125 times 150,000. You will get 72,000. Okay, 72,000. Similarly, for product YZ, it will be 40 divided by 125 times 150. And then stores and canteen similarly. So the question says show the basis of apportionment you have used for each expenses. So I have to show. So I put bracket on basis of floor space slash area. Okay. Then depreciation. What is the basis that is most suitable? I think the most suitable basis will be book value of plant and machinery. So I take 500 divided by 1,000 times 160. So I will get 80,000. Similarly, this will be 300 divided by 1,000 times 160. I get 48. So this one I put here on basis of book value, because I have to, as indicated in the question, I have to show the basis of apportionment. Okay, power used. Power use, I think the most suitable basis of allocation will be horsepower of machinery. Just logically think which is the most suitable one. Okay, so I put it here, and then similarly the power use for AB will be 70 over 100 times 40,000 is 28,000, and this will be 30 over 100 times 40, you get 12. This one no. Heating and lighting, I think the most suitable basis will be area in square meter, because my logic is the bigger the area you occupy, the more heating and lighting you will consume. This is my logic, that I can think. So yeah, so you allocate the same way. Advertising. Okay, advertising, if you look at the question, you can actually derive the sales, the annual budgeted sales value for this. AB, the sales value for AB would be 20,000 units times 200 is 4 million. Then YZ is 12,000 units times 500. This is given at the top of the question, the information I did from the information here. I have calculated the sales value for two products. So the advertising will be on basis of annual sales value. So for product AB, for product AB will be 4 over 10, 4 over 10 times 60,000. Okay, then this one will be 6 over 10 times 60,000. So so then I will put all the totals. Okay, you see the reason why we do this overhead apportionment sheet is ultimately we want to find out the total indirect overheads for the the two products department, because we ultimately we are not going to sell our stores, we are not going to make money out of our canteen, but we ultimately we are going to make money out of these two products. So the whole purpose of this thing is to compile, um, allocate all the indirect overheads to do these two um, profit generating or revenue generating products. Okay, so now the canteen. Okay, actually all these three departments, A, B, Y, Z, and stores will be using the canteen. Okay, even the stores, storeman will be also using the canteen. But the other way around is not true. The canteen people won't be using. I mean, the canteen workers won't be using the stores. This is the factory store, you know. So the factory storeman will also be going to the canteen. So the canteen would be a portion. So that means we have all the costs here. The canteen cost is canteen overheads is 44,000, will be a portion to all the other three departments on the basis of number of employees. Okay, you see this one number of employees. So if you exclude the number of employees for canteen, will be 55 plus 55, 50 plus 5 will be total 60 if you exclude the canteen. Okay, exclude the canteen. So the total number of employees will be 55. So that means for the stores allocation of overheads for canteen will be 5 divided by, so the stores will be 5 divided by 55 times 44,000, you get 4,000. Similarly, this one will be 25 divided by 55 times 44,000, you get 20,000, and so is this. So now 78,000 plus 4,000 is 82,000. So stores, the overhead for stores, you will have to allocate the overhead for stores to these two departments. I would say the basis of allocation will be on the basis of number of store notes issued, which is stated here. So for AB will be 10 over 16 times 800. So you get this number. And similarly, this one you get on the same formula. So now these two canteen and stores, there's no more overheads already because it has been reapportioned or reallocated to these two revenue generating product. So the overheads for these two revenue generating product is so much. Then B says, so that means this one, to be precise, even though the question didn't say, we know that these are the budgeted figures. Maybe they budget based on last year's accounts figures. So this is the total budgeted overheads for product AB and product YZ. Okay, so you see here, calculate an overhead recovery rate. Overhead recovery rate, from what we understand here, is actually, it's just a different name, but it means the same as overhead apportionment rate, or OAR. Okay, on the basis of direct labor hours for each product. So what is the direct labor hours? What is the direct labor hours? Can you find out the direct labor hours? Okay, direct labor hours given here, 60,000. Okay, calculate the overhead recovery rate based on direct labor hours for each of the two products. So direct labor hours, according to the question, is 60,000. So this is the budgeted overheads divided by direct labor hours. So the overhead apportionment rate, or overhead, they call it overhead recovery rate, it means the same, will be 372,000 divided by 60,000. Um, so above total divided by this, you get 6.2, and this is 4.5, 4.25. Okay, part C says calculate using an absorption costing basis the full cost of one unit of each product A, B, and Y, Z. So this is not difficult. So calculation of full cost for A, B, and Y, Z. So material M is 20 kilos needed for one unit. Okay, is stated in the question for material M, 20 kilos times $3 per kilo, and then this one is 35. So this one is just very easy. Okay, just compile the figures. So packaging material given in the question, courier also given, like direct labor, um, 3 hours. This one is also you can obtain from the question. Each unit A, B take 3 hours to make in the assembly shop, and Y, Z 5 hours. Okay, 5, and then the labor is paid $12 per hour. Okay, overheads. Overheads is you see it's this overhead recovery rate. The basis is direct labor hours. So you take the direct labor hours times by the overhead recovery rate. This one is 18.6, and this the direct labor hour for one unit of YZ is 5 hours at times the overhead recovery rate 4.25. Okay, yeah. So then the full cost per unit is over here. Okay, so then like what I said earlier on, try you should redo this question again and try these two questions. Okay, thank you for watching.